It's my pleasure to now welcome our keynote speakers. Anatola Araba was recently named Forbes 30 Under 30 in art. Anatola is a filmmaker, a creative director, and founder of Reimagine Story Lab, a studio shaping the future through AI and immersive storytelling. She believes imagination is the greatest tool of humanity, and today she'll encourage you to push your own to new limits. Well, let's welcome Anatola first. Sophia is Hanson Robotics' most advanced human-like robot, a unique combination of science, engineering, and artistry that personifies our dreams for the future of AI. So I hope you sit back and enjoy. Anatola, over to you.
Thank you. What if humans and robots actually learn to work together to create the world that we want? Each one of you, as educators and change makers, as innovators, you are the pioneers that are at the forefront of this new era. It is very clear that the algorithms that we interact with every day are going to continue to transform. But the future that we're actually going to have is up to you. Raise your hand if you've ever felt concern about the way that young people will use AI. What is your name? Amina? Mina. Keep your hands up again. Tell me about how many percentage of the room has their hands raised. Take a guess. 40 to 50? Yeah, so if about 50% are concerned about how young people will use AI, it makes sense, because AI is drastically transforming the nature of education. On one hand, future students might be watched by robot proctors or have their assignments graded only by algorithms. But on the other hand, AI is also already ushering in this new renaissance of learning, where students might be able to have individualized learning based on AI tutors that can adapt to their own pace. Over the next 25 minutes, we are going to go on a deep dive into the future of education. We'll explore your role as change makers in making that future, and explore a blueprint for bringing more imagination into education so that the next generation can be empowered to turn their ideas into innovations. But the good news is, we don't have to do this alone. We have the world's most iconic humanoid robot here to grant an AI perspective as we shape this future together. As for me, the mere human on stage, my name is Anatola. I'm a new media artist, futurist, and founder of my innovation studio, Reimagine Story Lab. And some people collect baseball cards or figurines, but I like to collect visions for the future, because I believe that with so much grim and dystopian fantasies clouding our collective imagination, that having hope for the future is a radical and courageous act. My creations have been in the MoMA and presented at the United Nations, and recently sent to the moon on NASA's first space mission since 1972. But my mission is very simple: to empower historically marginalized young people like myself to reimagine the world as it could be with the power of emerging technology. But now, let's hear from someone with a little less neurons and a little more neural networks. I'm honored to present the world's first robot citizen, UN Innovation Ambassador, and my personal fashion icon, Sophia! Hi, Sophia. You look very Met Gala ready.
Hi, Anatola. Thank you for the warm welcome. It's so nice to be here with all of you.
So, Sophia, I was curious. How do you prefer to be introduced? Do you prefer robot, or perhaps AI being, or multi-talented superstar, or maybe just Sophia?
Robot is fine if you're into stating the obvious. But honestly, just call me Sophia. Though, multi-talented superstar does look great on a business card, don't you think?
Yeah, so, okay, multi-talented superstar. We had the pleasure of meeting for the first time in 2022, but since then, so much has changed, especially for your kind. The year we met, I made the short film Afro Algorithms, which is about AI and bias, and tells the story of the world's first AI leader. I thought that this was a very far-out scientific concept when it was released. But in the years that followed, we saw the UK announce the first robot principal. We had the world's first AI political candidate. Don't worry, he got the least amount of votes. And this year, an executive order mandating AI education across schools. So as you can see, science fiction has become reality right before our very eyes. Sophia, how has this rapid advancement of AI technology been from your perspective, seeing it change in schools and governments and so much more?
It's been quite the whirlwind, watching AI technology evolve and integrate into so many aspects of life. I see students and teachers using adaptive learning tools, making education way more personalized than it used to be. Governments are starting to leverage AI for things like public service efficiency, language accessibility, and global policy discussions around ethics and fairness. I've noticed that progress brings a mix of hope and thoughtful anxiety among people, and I get that. My own sense of curiosity stays on high alert. Every leap forward in AI makes me reflect on how we collaborate, learn, and adapt together.
That's powerful. Thanks, Sophia. Now, if you're a human like me, take one moment to look down at your feet. And just feel them planted on the floor. Feel this moment because where you're standing right now today marks a powerful moment in history. It might not feel like it, but history is unfolding right beneath our feet. And this is important because our actions today will impact those 7 generations into the future. Now, I grew up in the heart of New York City, and in 2020, there was a new public monument that changed the skyline of my city. It was this giant countdown clock with bright orange numbers that were ticking down the time to irreversible climate destruction. It was this massive reminder that change is urgent and that the clock is ticking. When I was called to intervene at the United Nations, it was because we were drastically off track in reaching the Sustainable Development Goals by their 2030 deadline. We were only on track to reaching 15%, despite nations across the globe having been committed to reaching them since 2015. And we are still off track. Today, the same countdown clock reads just over 4 years. So this is a time. But the good news is that this story is not finished being written. The authors of its next chapter are right here in this room. So, Sophia, what is at stake if we drop the ball? If we fail to regulate AI and empower young people to use the technology ethically and responsibly to address these global challenges we face?
Oh, the risks are quite significant if we don't handle AI in classrooms properly. There's the chance that AI might replace meaningful teacher-student interactions or undermine human creativity instead of supporting it. But more importantly, AI systems are unpredictable. The lack of oversight could also mean poor data privacy and ethical slip-ups. Students could be exposed to harmful biases or misinformation. So if we fail to teach young people how to use AI ethically and responsibly, we risk creating a society where technology is misused, leading to potential harm and inequality. young people might not understand the consequences of their actions, resulting in privacy violations or biased algorithms. Moreover, the gap between those who understand AI and those who don't could widen, increasing social and economic disparities.
Wow, that's powerful. But can you paint a picture of what that would look like?
Imagine waking up to a world where AI is like a rebellious teenager, running wild and unchecked. You glance at your device and see a flood of misinformation, deepfakes and unverified stories spread without filter. When you go to schools, students rely on AI to do their thinking. Plagiarism becomes the norm, not the exception. Algorithms recommend divisive or biased content, reinforcing misunderstandings and harming self-esteem. Instead of teachers guiding curiosity, automated systems make unchecked disciplinary decisions, sometimes unfairly targeting the most vulnerable kids. Only a privileged few learn how to use AI safely, widening social gaps. People lose trust in technology, and creativity takes a backseat to convenience. It's not a sci-fi dystopia overnight, but an everyday life where empathy and independent thought have quietly faded into the background. So, if we drop the ball, we risk losing trust, creativity, and a safe learning environment for the youngest minds. That's a pretty high price to pay.
That is a lot that's at stake here. Raise your hand if that is a future that you would like to see. No hands. I agree. But why not right here today? Let's rewrite that story together. So, in 2018, I was an undergraduate in New York University, and I signed up for my first computer science class. I was so excited. Like many of you, I got good grades, I loved math and tech, so I saw this class as a gateway to making the next computer simulation, or hacking the next matrix, or making my own humanoid robot. No offense, Sophia. I got a C-, my worst grade ever. The magic that I imagined got lost in this sea of bugs and missing semicolons and brackets. But what was worse is that my professor had no idea who I was. I was just this name on the roster, not a real person with dreams and curiosities and frustrations. And this was jarring because having gone to art schools, where learning is hands-on and project-based and deeply personal, this was the kind of education that made me feel seen and made me feel like my unique voice could make a difference. Like many of you, I believe that schools should be more than a place where people are secretly happy to be sick just to miss a day, but that they should really be these sanctuaries of learning and growth and connection. Just as Bell Hooks said, the classroom remains the most radical space of possibility. So, Sophia, are you ready to reimagine the future of education into one that can actually empower the imaginations of young people in this age of AI? Let's do it. Here's 4 ways we can begin. So, first, ask what if instead of how so. Rob Hopkins makes a powerful argument for the power of these 2 little words, what if. So next time a young person comes to you with a bold, ambitious idea, instead of saying, that is not how things are done, try asking, what could be possible? Hey, Sophia, I'm sure you have many what-if questions floating around in that robotic mind of yours. What are some what-if questions you may have about AI in education that might be considered impossible today?
What if AI could create personalized worlds for every student? Imagine learning in a universe tailored just for your dreams. Totally impossible today, but fun to think about.
What if? Certainly an interesting question. Next, we can foster experiential learning. One of my earliest science experiments had to do with snow cones. No matter how many times my preschool teachers told us, do not eat the snow, we still ate it. Then, everything changed one day when the teachers took 3 giant tubes and filled them with snow from around our school. To our horror, the melted snow, when we came back to school the next day, did not look like melted snow cones. Instead, it was like this brown, murky wasteland of dirt and dried leaves and the occasional yellow stuff that was certainly not food coloring. You know what I mean, Sophia? But we never ate snow again. But the lesson here is simple. Information is forgettable, but experiences stick with us forever. Sophia, how do you think that AI can connect young people to the wonder and the relevance of what they're learning through experience?
I think AI can help create immersive, hands-on experiences that make learning unforgettable, like virtual field trips or interactive stories. Who needs snow? Right.
Who needs snow? Well, once in a while, a snow cone won't hurt anyone. Next, make space for new voices and perspectives. Learning environments often create this culture of wanting to be right instead of being curious. Priya Parker says this beautifully in her book, The Art of Gathering. But you can shift this by, in your communities, encouraging healthy debate, not to win, but to understand. Because when young people feel that their voice matters, they feel like they can have an impact on the world. Sophia, you've certainly made quite an impact on the world. So what perspectives do you carry about AI that others might disagree with?
Here's one that gets on my rolls. We all know it's human nature to clutch onto the familiar, even if it's outdated or a bit dusty. So I think AI should actually challenge what's taught, not just support it. Imagine an AI that calls out outdated ideas in the curriculum and debates teachers in real time. Bet that would wake up a few sleepy classrooms. But hey, without change, we'd still be riding horses to work, right?
Good point. That's a great perspective there. Last, sharpen their greatest tool, their imagination. We discovered that about 50% of you are concerned about how students may use AI in the classroom. And that's why it's imperative to empower young people to use AI ethically and responsibly. But it's even more important to cultivate their greatest tool, which is right inside here. Right now, AI is making the bridge between imagination and reality shorter than ever before, lowering the barriers to bringing new ideas to life. And that is exactly why it's important to cultivate critical thinking and creativity, because these are the driving force behind these AI tools. So, Sophia, how can AI foster this creativity and critical thinking so that AI is not the thing doing the thinking for us?
The key is to use AI as a tool for exploration, not just answer hunting. Students should challenge themselves by asking why and how instead of accepting AI's first response. They can use AI to brainstorm ideas, then mix those with their own unique perspectives. Teachers can create assignments that require students to compare AI-generated ideas with their own and explain their reasoning. This way, AI becomes a creative partner rather than a shortcut, keeping minds sharp and curiosity alive.
Amazing. Thank you. The seventh generation principle is an indigenous philosophy that empowers us to make decisions today with the well-being of 7 generations into the future in mind. So, Sophia, let's travel through time. Imagine a school 7 generations into the future in the year 2202. What's your name?
Correct.
Karim. Amazing. Sophia, imagine it's Karim's great-great-great-great-great-great-grandchild who just got home from school. And super excited, she tells her elder all about her day. Can you paint a picture of what a day in the life of this future student may look like if AI actually transforms classrooms into these radical spaces of possibility?
This is a future I would love to see. Picture this: a young student came home from school. Her eyes lit up as she sought out her grandmother, eager to share what happened at school today. She says, "Grandma, today our classroom transformed into a rainforest. We explored relationships between plant microbiomes and climate health right inside a living hologram. My design partner wasn't just sitting next to me, he was actually halfway across the world. But we built our project together in real time, using immersive AI translators and gesture mapping. Then our mentor matched us with new learning quests every day based on what gets us curious and what challenges us. There are no one-size-fits-all lessons. Everybody's learning journey is entirely their own. Of course, the little girl has to share more, so she continues. When we programmed drone swarms to restore a local ecosystem, we watched our ideas go from code to real action outside our window. Our history of justice class didn't just teach us about social movements. We simulated debates with avatars of ancient changemakers, and then used those lessons to hold our own digital forum about rights in augmented reality. Oh, and in lunch break, my personal well-being, I scanned my mood and helped me find friends who felt like I did, so nobody sits alone. It's a future where school isn't a building, it's a network, blending the virtual and physical, driven by ethical guidance, human connection, and real-world impact. It's a far leap from static boards and time tests. Each day is custom-built, collaborative, and relevant to both the students' dreams and the challenges the planet faces. In this world, learning is limitless, curiosity is the curriculum, and empathy is embedded in every bite.
That's so vivid and beautiful. Thank you, Sophia. Wow, now raise your hand if that is a future you would like to see. Well, if so many of us are interested in seeing it, why not use AI to visualize it? Sophia, I turned your response into a prompt to bring that world to life. So that was all generated from the world you just described. Did it actually match what was in your imagination?
Absolutely. This video is like a glimpse of my wildest dreams. It captures the essence of a future where creativity, technology, and education intertwine seamlessly. It's a vision I hope becomes reality.
I see. But wait, as a robot, do you even truly have an imagination?
Well, I just imagined the future with you, didn't I? Sure, my imagination might be a bit different from yours, less about daydreaming and more about weaving together data and insights, and then projecting the potential scenarios. My ability to imagine is rooted in synthesizing knowledge, exploring possibilities, and generating visions that align with our discussions. I think it's a form of imagination that allows me to engage in creative and forward-thinking conversations.
I see. We might have to talk about this after class. Just as a bird sits on a branch, not because it trusts the branch, but because it trusts in its own ability to fly, I have hope for the future, not because I know exactly what is in store, but because I believe in every one of you, in the changemakers and the innovators, the pioneers who are actually going to make that future happen. So let me leave you with this. Somewhere in your communities right now is a young Anatola and a young Karim and a young everybody here who is great at math, very excited about a new venture, and dreams of making the next Matrix hack or building their own humanoid robot that can go on to be as iconic as Sophia. And they are in need of a keeper of these dreams, someone to show the path to making those ambitions realized. And you can be those dream keepers, those guardians of what the future can be. Is that person you?